Hello and welcome to another edition of the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast, or rather, the British Basketball Podcast.
Maybe World Basketball Podcast, Mark.
We're branching out. We're stretching our loins. We are engorged in the world of basketball.
Indeed.
Is that the word to use? Engorged? I don't know. So, anyway, we're going to try this name. If it works, it works. We're not sure. But we're just going to be branching a little bit more out today on some of the topics rather than just talking about our hometown, which we do love, obviously. So with that, Paul, what are our topics today?
Well, look, I'm going to say this straight away. Mark, I might upset some people today.
Shocker.
We might upset some people today. So before I upset some people today, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all our listeners out there, because I know I've told you
Mum.
some of these and shared some of them with you, but I've been getting quite a lot of messages on Facebook and WhatsApp and emails and stuff like that of just people saying how much they enjoy the show and stuff like that. And I know I showed you a couple of them and you were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then you started talking about the numbers of the listeners of the show, and, you know, we put out a show and the downloads just shot straight up within like the first 20 seconds or something. So, you know, just I guess on behalf of both of us, just a huge thank you to everyone's listening. Please stay with us. And if you want to, you know, hear us talk about any topics, or you want to throw something our way, you know, get in touch with us. Do it. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, just to echo that, thank you so much for listening, because it is really important for us that people are, you know, doing things and contributing. So with that, I mean,
well, should we upset some people now?
we can upset some people.
Well, I mean, I watched the highlights today. Did you not want me to turn it on?
I'm curious why you turned that music on. That's
Well,
our
I
intro
thought that's
music.
what we did.
No.
Do you? All right, hang on. I'll do a little fade out and then hope.
No, I like it. It's nice, but
All right.
we
Am I turning that off or not?
have you eaten enough food today?
Probably not. But am I turning this off?
Yes.
All right. There you go.
Oh, amazing.
I'll let you add whatever you want to add.
Yeah, I just put a little background in the background. Just leave it as it is.
I thought you said press the button.
No,
Okay.
you just want to press the buttons, don't you?
Well, let me upset people. I'm going to upset people now. So let's talk about. I watched. We've currently got the FIBA World Championships going on, and that is how. That's why I think maybe this episode should be called the World Basketball Podcast. So I watched the United States of America take on. What?
What was that?
That was
What?
my American accent.
Which part of America is that from?
They all talk the same, Mark. They all talk the same. Look, we all talk like the Queen.
People to start with.
We talk like the Queen Cockney, so they all talk the same. So,
Hello, Governor, would a cup of tea?
you've thrown me now. Who did they play last night? Lithuania.
Lithuania.
Lithuania. And
They are world champions, remember, Paul?
I watched the highlights, and damn, like Lithuania started well, and they just, you know, lit it up. You know, the States tried to come back, but that Lithuania were strong, and
How are they strong in your view?
well, they were teaching America how to play the game. They were strong inside.
Were they? Do
There
you
were
think
some
they were
great
doing
inside plays, you know, chucking it out to the three, that going in. That was
There's
great.
A lot of that going on. Wasn't
And you know what? It's one of those things. Are America going to win the tournament? Probably. You know, are they the favourites still?
I don't know, because I know they're in the quarters, but
They're in the quarterfinals, but you know what? That was the first time in a long time where you've gone, wow, they might not win this. And it was really interesting because there was a guy called Noah Lyles, was it?
Yeah.
He's in
Noah
athletics.
Yeah.
And he turned around and he said something, and I kind of heard these things, watched that and heard this in similar, in close time frames. And it made me think about the NBA, and they say, you know, you win the NBA, you're now world champions. Well, Noah turned around and said, well, hang on, you go to the Athletics World Championship, you see all the flags from everywhere.
Yeah,
when you're, in the American championships, well, that's the Americans going on. And that made me think, well, hang on, is the NBA, are you true world champion if you win the NBA title? Well, maybe not.
If, to echo on that, if the guys playing for USA now, if they go through this tournament and they win the World Championships, FIBA is the recognised world standard for basketball. So they're the only ones that have countries playing against each other. That's what a world champion is, the same as in the Olympics. So from his argument, I can see why he says it. I think maybe the NBA got a little precious on that. I think they maybe got a little bit upset with that sort of side of things. Maybe if you think back to the Olympic team that went in and it was an absolute shambles.
The Dream Team?
No.
Oh, was this due to the Dream Team? You had the shambles and then the Dream Team went in?
No, I think so, if I remember rightly.
I think it happened twice, didn't it?
Yeah, and it happened afterwards
Kobe
again.
turned up.
Yeah.
For the next Olympics.
And then, we're going to now draft some decent players. And, everyone's seen the clip of Vince Carter, for example, dunking over the 7'1" dude and Garnett getting all excited. And they started sending their proper players over. And I think that was a turning point in the Olympics, because before that, I don't think they did anything. You look at the team in the USA now who's over there. I'm not a massive, not saying I'm not hate LeBron, but I'm not the giant fan that some people are. He's a very consistent player and a strong player, but he's not on the team. If LeBron's, he's an American, he wants to play for his country, why is he not playing in the World Championships? I don't know if there's a caveat or something, but it just doesn't make. You got like Jalen Brunson, and Green, and all these sort of players, and you think
it's not the All Stars that you're seeing, is it?
No,
the All Star game.
But then you look at Slovakia, and Luka's there.
Yeah, and Spain won it last time, right?
Yeah.
So whoever won the Spanish title for the next 4 years, could they say they were world champions?
Well, technically they should, because it's like if you win I'm not very good at football, you have to remind me. You got like Champions Leagues, and it's La Liga is something else, isn't it? And then you've got Premier League, and then you've got the one in South America.
Yeah.
That's its own league. And you've got the one in Spain. So they've all these separate leagues.
Yeah.
But there's only one World Cup.
Yeah.
And whoever wins the World Cup are the world champions. There is a European, we have the Euros. That's great. That's all very good. Same as the Olympics. You have the Commonwealth Games. You also have the World Championships for Olympics. And then you have the Olympics. So you have if you want a medal, what would you rather have? An Olympic gold medal?
No, nothing touches that World Cup. Nothing touches that World Cup.
But that's in football.
Yeah.
If you're an athlete,
if you're an athlete, it's the Olympics, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's why, if you think of this guy, and I totally forgot his name, Noah. But if you're thinking of Noah now,
Noah Lyles, Mark.
He's an Olympian. So he wants to be he's like, I want to be an Olympian, the gold medalist. I don't want to be the world champion. I want to be the Olympic champion.
Yeah.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
It's the same thing, but the World Championships, you still have lots of countries representing, but it's a different thing. The NBA is different because it's become the number one league.
The hub, isn't it?
Yeah, it's become the number one league.
Do you have all the best players?
No, of course you don't. That's not how it works. Even if you look at, let's put your statistics head on. Look at a standard deviation and look at a whole graph of all the players.
Are you referring to the bell curve, Mark?
Correct, sir. You're going to have outliers who are the really, really bad players in the NBA, who for some reason they're still in the NBA. And then you've got some amazing players, you think, oh my God, I can't believe they're still playing. And then you've got everyone else sort of in the middle who are You know, you've got your all-stars one end, the averages the other, and then people who are just role players. They'll play 8-9 seasons, do all right. They'll be known in their hometown, but they're not going to make a stamp on basketball. You know, love them or hate them, all of the people that people reference in basketball often come from the NBA. I'm not quoting someone from Eurobasket League or out in the leagues in China or Japan or Korea and places. I'm not quoting anyone from there. And yet all the Spanish leagues or anyone, and yet when I go now to the world rankings, and this is the FIBA world rankings.
Yeah.
Spain, USA, and Australia are all ranked like number 1. That's where they're putting them all.
Wow.
And then you go straight down.
There's got to be a lot of Eastern European countries up there, right?
Yeah. I mean, after Argentina, France.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go controversial here, actually. The UK used to hold the NBA in the NBA game in London in the O2. Great arena, good place to do it. Arguably, they could have done a better job, but we lost that, and it's now in France, mainly because of, we're not in Europe anymore. But when you look on paper, France are 5th. And look at the quality of the players, the French players. You got Wembiano who's just come over.
Yeah.
But look at all the other players historically who have come from France. Strong. Where do you think the UK is ranked by FIBA?
I don't think they'll be in the top 20 or 25. Maybe I'll say top 30, maybe.
Incorrect.
What is it?
Try again.
Top 20, 25th.
No, they wish. No, currently in FIBA standings, they are 48th in the world, just behind Bulgaria.
48th?
48th in the world.
I mean...
Why are we so shit?
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Mark, I'm going to have to get a sound effect for this. Hang on. So basically what we're saying is we are the football equivalent of bloody Moldova. That's what you're saying, right? We're Moldova in the world.
I genuinely just thinking now, where's Moldova? Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Everyone turns up to Moldova and beat them 4-0, 5-0.
The Welsh national football team
Yeah.
are more successful. They've got to a World Cup. We haven't got to a World Cup. We haven't done anything.
Have we ever qualified for a World Cup?
I'll have to look this up, but I don't.
That's embarrassing.
It's now. I'm going to go on record here and say,
why are we so bad though? Because when you look at the youth stuff and some other things, like we're not 48th.
Under 16 men's at the European Championships came 10th. That's brilliant achievement. That's great to see all the youths coming in. That's under 16 men's. Under 16 women's finished 6th. How fantastic is that? So all the youth teams, they're pulling their part. And the over 50s, you heard from Andy. And where did they come?
In
Argentina.
So Andy Rowlands, our Portsmouth Force legend.
Legend. If you haven't heard his episode, go back and listen.
I think that was the first ever double episode, wasn't it?
It was a double ender, yeah.
Andy went to the World Championships in Argentina, and they had some success. I think he said they had a tough loss to Serbia, but they ended up coming 13th. And look, when you're talking about World Championships, 13th, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I'd be happy with that. If you're in the top 20, you're thinking, oh, great.
Look, if Andy came back and said, Paul, I came 48th, well, I hope you had a nice holiday, is what I'd say. Yeah. 13th, it's like, well done, mate.
Yeah,
well done.
You have to.
Are you winding me up with 48?
No, here you go. Look, have a look.
That's embarrassing, isn't it?
Right there. Oh, you haven't got your glasses.
Well, hang on. So what could it be because of our qualification? We're in a tough European group.
No, we're just slightly above Iceland and Sweden, those well-known basketball teams.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's some countries that you think, okay, they're higher up or they're lower down than I'd expect. Someone like the Netherlands, I'd expect them to be a little bit higher because they do have quite good leads out there. And then you have countries that do surprise me a little bit, like the Philippines. They're 40th.
We're below the Philippines.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and Estonia. Yeah,
I mean,
Lebanon. We're lower than Lebanon.
I'd like to think.
Korea.
Not that we're going to be the best at everything. Like, we invented football and cricket, but we're not the best in the world at that. But you'd like to think if you invented the sport, you're going to be in the top 10 or the top 20 worst case.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we didn't invent the sport though.
Japan are higher, Korea higher, Israel, Jordan, Georgia, Mexico. What gets really annoying is more when you're looking at these are
I wonder if it's
these are
the
world
teams we're
classifications.
playing because it's Europe. I mean, the Eastern Europeans, they are strong.
Well,
So if we're playing Eastern European teams and getting beaten all the time,
when we went into the Europeans to qualify for these World Cup, I had to look it up. We were 1 for 9.
against who?
I'll have to look at the teams, but
Mark,
the
I need to know these teams.
The last team that we played,
Serbia, isn't it?
yes, it was Serbia, and that was like 101 to
Yeah, they're
83.
great. I mean,
They're a strong
team.
Yeah, strong team.
Come on, let's see who we've been playing.
I'm going to have a look. And while I do that, let's look at where Serbia are. Serbia, 6th in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you go,
Eastern Europe. It's their national sport.
yeah. And I've got no problems with losing to a quality team. My problems is, and it sounds really stupid, but fundamentally, Spain, France, Serbia, Lithuania, Greece, Italy, Germany, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Turkey.
I guess
That's the top 14 in the world. They're
you
all
could
in the top
argue
14.
basketball is bigger in those countries.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is really, we've been talking about what we're trying to do with youths, all the stuff that Mick did all back in the 80s and how they went through a hype. And obviously the Jordan era helped push basketball globally. But then flip it around and you go, why is it dropped off? I mean, I remember us getting excited when Adidas started putting those street ball rings up. And they went through that period until you went and shot on one and realised if you hit that wrong, that ball was boing and it's out the park. But we got excited about that. And then it just dropped off a cliff for some
Why
reason.
are we not number one, Mark? We should be top 3. This is a disgrace. I want to get BE on here now to answer these questions. Why?
Well, the thing I don't understand is why have we not got the sort of better results when you look at some of the things that GB are doing and they're putting into sport and some of the success they've had last year, you think, okay, the team were doing well and there's some cohesion, and they just sort of fall off a cliff.
I don't know if this is a silly thing to say. I wonder if culture has got anything to do with it, because when you look at the basketball culture around Eastern Europe, I mean, we talked about this before. It's the crowds feel very football crowd, chanting, flares. The place is going
They love
nuts.
it. They love it.
You come over to England,
No one's interested.
It's very we're a bit reserved, aren't we? And in America, they don't need any excuse to stand up, do they?
I think
Mate,
as
do you
you
think
said,
the culture is affecting it as well?
It is, but think about sports lovers. You've been to like a rugby match, you've been to a football match, you've been to a cricket match.
Mark, as this is the episode called "We Might Upset You," I have never and will never go to a cricket match.
Well, I thought you would. It's a day of drinking, basically.
No, no interest.
But it's
I'd
all
put that in the category of darts and golf.
well. Darts is golf. Yeah, we can have golf. I'm not a fan of golf, but darts.
Are we just ticking everyone?
We're ticking all. We're going
upset today.
If you like any of these sports, we're going to upset you. Get over it. But darts is a perfect example. It's darts. But when you see it and they televise it and they get massive crowds and they hype people up, people go to that because it's an atmosphere and they get hyped into it. So they know. Same as when you go to football and everyone starts chanting. Rugby, it's the same sort of thing, but it's done in a slightly different way. But basketball, they're not educated. The crowds don't know what we meant to do.
We were trying to do that with the music, isn't it? That's one of the things I was kind of sitting back and like, defense.
But I've looked at some recent games over the last couple of years from the top tier. And if anyone has listened to the other podcasts, even I got confused about what are the leagues
in
the UK. Because it just doesn't make sense sometimes. It's like, this is the BBL, but now this is not the BBL, this is something else. This is the basketball league, and this, you know.
Yeah, the BBL is the top.
That's right.
And then NBL, National League, and then that goes 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you have 4. But my understanding is in 1 and 2, they split the country north and south.
Yep.
And then they will come together towards the end. And then
they do it divisionally.
Division 3, that's when they split it into you're closer.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 divisions at the moment.
Yeah, it's fine and it's good because, I mean, I get that they've probably looked at the football leagues, I'm guessing, and said, oh, this is the way that you can do it footballly, where someone who plays for a local team could ultimately go against someone in the top tier if they were going through a cup or whatever. So I get that. But, I mean, yeah, the crowds weren't that educated. They were just going to watch a game. The game is not, it's European basketball, so it's different to the NBA. You just have to accept that. It's just a different game. But there's no, the atmosphere's all right. It's not. It's
I know what you're saying. I do think, like with the Portsmouth Force in particular, towards the end of the season, it was like, okay, we know what's going on, we know what we're doing, and it was like, wow, okay, this is actually, you can see an effect it's having on the game. But
people hadn't had basketball in the city to go and watch it and have a support like that for quite a long time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about places in Manchester, places in Plymouth or Bristol or London. They've all had established teams for a long time. And the crowds are all right. But it's just a different thing.
Are you suggesting we take over their media and entertainment?
I 100% am happy to pimp myself out if necessary. But like genuinely, there seems to be...
If they get me a helicopter, they can fly me around and I'll turn up and be like,
that's your stipulation, if they give you a helicopter.
Well, how am I going to get around to all the games?
You're not doing it on the same night.
Well, I can probably do 3 games a day, can I?
That's the best contract ever. If you give me a helicopter, I'll definitely do it.
No, I don't want the helicopter. They just got to fly me around.
Oh, so it's not, you don't want to own it.
I don't want to own it.
You just want to be chauffeured in it.
What if someone That's the only way you're going to get me from Newcastle down to Portsmouth, and obviously Portsmouth Force. That's always
they're getting BBL.
That's always on the ticket. It's like, look, I'll do what you want, but Portsmouth Force is always there.
So if there's a BBL game and then there's a Portsmouth Force game, you have to sack.
Sorry, lads, I'm doing the Portsmouth Force.
That's commitment. But I mean, it brings up this. Just looking at some of the crowds here in these national games, and these are national things that are going on. It's probably indicative of a lot of sport at the moment, and ever since the pandemic, the return of people watching sport and going back to it took quite a long time. And I know people loved going to football games and watching any sport in particular, but the NBA was one of the few actual genuine leagues in the world that carried on going in the pandemic.
The Disney bubble.
Yeah. And I think they screwed up there. Seeing as we're going off on the tangent of let's insult everyone.
Wow.
Well, I did.
You're not going to have a go at Disney, Mark, because I will defend Mickey Mouse.
I've never liked the mouse.
What?
No.
So what was wrong with the bubble?
What was wrong with the bubble? Well, firstly, for some reason they allowed the players to have their little tantrums and wear whatever they wanted to do and just make stupid, provocative statements because they were trying to appease everyone. And I think they got it wrong there because they made the mistake of letting the players dictate how the game is perceived by the audience. And something we were talking about off air earlier, people who watch the game are not always people who play the game.
Yeah.
So when a basketball player is saying, I think we should do this, it's like, is that because that's what you would want to watch? Because that's not what your majority audience are. Most of LeBron's audience are not 6'9", built like an absolute tank. Most people aren't like that.
Yeah, and I think you could probably go through examples where you need to remember who your audience is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely even more recent examples, but just keep it in mind with your who your audience is, and then
I mean, look, big baby LeBron dropped the ball and annoyed quite a few people in the Far East by saying various things, and people like Adam Silver would have been sat there thinking, damn, we get like billions from the Far East every year of money coming in. The NBA is a business, and people sometimes forget that. When you look at FIFA rather, and all of who was the guy who was the head of FIFA? Was it Sepp Blatter or something?
Sepp Blatter, yeah.
And all that controversy and all the stuff that was going on with him, because they were running it like a business. And then people were saying, hang on a minute, you're supposed to be the governing body here. But then there's also lots of money changing hands and people are getting very rich off stuff. I don't think Adam Silver shops in Asda. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And the only thing I would say is, and I'm going to sit on the fence on this one, because I think it's, like I said, you need to remember who your audience is. And you know what? The one thing I thought with with any kind of sport is, it's nice with sport to get away from, your working day and all that. And when you're just, you're tuning in to watch a basketball game, I'm not dealing with any news, any politics or anything like that. And I'm just focusing on just getting away and enjoying sport, because that's what I've paid for in my ticket.
Yep.
I get that. And the other side of the fence, which I can really appreciate, is that, if you have a voice and people will listen to it, is it right to use it, to make a stand, to, all these things?
No, ethically, if you've got a platform, and that's what any professional, if they've got
it's
a platform,
a tough line.
Yeah. And they've got to do that line between, this is something that ethically is correct and something that everyone should believe in. And then there's, this is my personal opinion, and that you should be doing what I think. And that's the line that they sometimes get wrong, but they maybe misconstrue sometimes. And they're pushing an agenda which is very personal to them. It could be about anything.
Yeah.
And this is not just talking about all the things where you had like Black Lives Matter and lots of horrific things, or there's something going off and there's a world tragedy, or the things that have been going off in like Maui and stuff, and the wildfires, and when people make stands about stuff like that, that is all totally good. And any of the celebrities that you'll see these days, if something terrible happens, they often put an appeal out and say, if you can help. I think, unfortunately, in that bubble moment,
Are you saying it took over?
I think it took over, but also it goes even simpler than that. They allowed that to happen. What they should have focused on is promoting the sport of basketball. That's what they just got so wrong. Because I've used the NBA app, and it's pretty slick. Their online thing's a bit because in the UK, for anyone who's outside the UK listening, it forces you to go to Sky first if you look at anything NBA, and then you have to go click links through. But their promotion, all their merchandise, all the stuff is fantastic. But somehow they're losing millions of people every year viewing basketball. And the whole world was desperate to watch sport.
Yeah.
And they were one of the only sports leagues that are recognised in the world.
And you thought it would have exploded?
It should have exploded. Why did it not? I love guitars. You know that. 16 million new guitar players just in America on their own. 16 million during the pandemic.
Wow.
I'd imagine now only about 10% of them remain. But still, that's still an extra 1.6 million people who love the guitar who didn't before the pandemic.
Are we now annoying guitar players, aspiring
Throw
guitar players who have given up?
Give your
should
dream
not
up.
have given up.
Give up your dream.
don't never give up on your dream,
But
and you should go get that
give up,
guitar.
you suck. You can't play Smells Like Teen Spirit over and over again, or Wonderwall. Don't play that. But still, all of those, they had a captive audience and they failed. They absolutely failed, and they lost sponsorships, they lost viewership. They were then talking about, are they going to change the league, when they're going to start the league, because they had to push it all back for COVID. And yeah, I mean,
I've got another one we could up.
There's an asterisk on that.
with.
There's an asterisk on that win. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Of course there is. 100% there's an asterisk. If, I think it was the Spurs, they won a ring.
Yeah.
And that was in, I can't remember, it was in the 2000s when there was the lockout. So the league didn't start until the December.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was just a 50-game season.
Yeah, it was like 53 games
or
or something. Yeah, but there's a star on that.
So is there a star on the Mickey Mouse one?
Well, there should be, 100%.
Okay.
I'm not saying you.
No, but is there an asterisk?
I don't know, but they historically people look at that Spurs win.
Was the season completed? I suppose that's the question. If it wasn't, then there should be an asterisk.
If the season was recognised as being complete. But if you think the season's had to stop basically in the sort of March time.
Yeah. I think with just all the sports around that time, it was very much, I think people just wanted that escapism of, I am stuck in this room and I'm not allowed out, or if I am, I'm allowed out for an hour or whatever it was. And
you need people to spread positivity in a time when everyone, like now we're 2023, we're 3 years on, and people are still suffering from those effects of being locked in and stuff. They had a perfect opportunity to anchor the sport in such a positive way, so that when it came back, kids were like, I want to go play basketball because I was watching it on the telly. They just missed out. Think of all the media and all the Showtime stuff that they've got that they could have just been pouring out there.
So does Adam Silver need to get you in to do
Adam, give us a call, mate. I'll
marketing?
sort you out.
I think if he hears this, Mark, he's going to be looking you up.
He will. Listen,
on
I've got the
NBA
same
and
haircut.
ban you.
We could just we can, we can both compare like what wax we use on our heads and everything.
Wow.
But I think that rolls back to UK basketball. We've had so many lulls in
I
stopping.
can't believe we're 48th still going on to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have a thought
We've
actually.
probably dropped down since we've been talking.
Talking about, being true world champions. I did have a thought. Let's say current Premiership champions are Man City. Yeah, they're Man City. Would you consider them to be world champions because they've won the Premiership?
No,
Okay,
World Cup.
Right. They won the Champions League. Would you consider them as... If they then went on to the World Championship, so this is Champions League versus... I think there's a couple of teams they bring in from South America.
Is there a World Championship?
Yeah. I don't think it's as prestigious. I think it should be, because for me, that is like, right, you got to win the Champions League, which is hard. Then you got to go up against the team that wins the South American title, and then put them together. Or I think there's 4 teams that go off to this World Championship tournament, and whoever won, it's called the Super Cup, that's what it is, and whoever wins that is like supposed to be the best club team in the world.
No,
you still
doesn't
wouldn't
matter.
count it.
No, World Cup.
So the NBA then can't count as world champions.
They're not world champions.
Wow.
They're not. They're
Adam
not
Silver
world champions.
is revoking your NBA pass.
He can do what he likes. That's all right, Adam. I'll find ways to do that. I'll piggyback off someone else.
Wow.
I'll borrow it from my neighbour. But you can't be a world champion if the rest of the world aren't present and just saying, oh, well, we're playing it. If they won this FIBA World Cup, yeah, okay, you can say you're world champions now. Because that's what it is. FIBA, world ranking.
Wow.
That is what FIBA is. If we recognise FIFA, and that's football, so FIBA is the basketball equivalent.
Wow. Mark, I think we're upsetting a lot of people today.
Good.
Wow.
Well, so as as the USA are apparently the best team in the world, and then they lost to Lithuania.
Yeah.
That well-known stalwart of playing. I mean, look, Lithuania are 8th according to the rankings. They're not like a shoddy team. Let's not pretend they just got swept. But there was like an 8-9 point deficit most of the game. And you got players like Anthony Edwards playing really well, and he did some phenomenal stuff. But
Not enough to impress you.
Oh no, he impressed me. He did, but they played the way the NBA plays, which is let's get a couple of good players, and it lies with them. Where Lithuania's top scoring guy was like 16, 17 points. Anthony Edwards got 35. That's how the game. That's the
okay.
That's the difference in the game. You can tell they'd have like 5 people who got double digits without even breaking a sweat.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. This might be the best thing that's happened to America in this tournament, because because
they're not out.
That's
they've still
an
got a
ego
chance to
check,
win.
isn't it? That's wow. Okay, we can be beat here.
Yeah.
I would like to think that if you were
what was the football
going into
tournament?
the next game, you'd be.
Was it the Euros that Spain won that year, or Greece, or someone won, and they won it, and people didn't think they were going to win.
Greece won the Euros once.
It was someone like that, and everyone's like, "What?" They go, "Yeah, they've just won a European. They got all the way through and won it.
Yeah, and
they were just consistent."
Yeah, they were. I think that's Greece you're talking about. I couldn't tell you the year. I want to say maybe 2000. I could be wrong,
but I just think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, because the NBA is the pinnacle of where people want to get to playing basketball. They want to get there at some point. I want to be an NBA player. I want to be a premier footballer. I want to be a Olympian for an athletic sort of achievement or whatever it is. That's the pinnacle. But day in, day out, if you look at all these players, looking at the men's team, and it actually tells you, like, this is the men's team, this is who all the players are. And then you'll see these are all the teams they play for. There's a few like Japan and maybe abroad and stuff like that, but a lot just in the UK. And I think that's maybe the problem. A lot of our players stay playing in the UK.
Mark, I'm going to throw a suggestion out.
I'd love to hear it.
If Great Britain are 48th,
I mean, it's just not good to say it, is there?
There is no harm chucking the Portsmouth Force as the GB team for one game. Let's put the whole Portsmouth Force in, Coach Dan in as Great Britain head coach for one game. Let's do it. I think we should do this.
I mean, why not? It'll be an experience if nothing else.
So let's see who have we upset today. We've upset America, the NBA saying they're world champions.
Yeah.
We have talked about the standard of national British basketball, with the exception of Andy Rowlands, Portsmouth legend.
And all the under-16s, men's and women's, doing
You're
fantastic.
basically saying everyone other than the national new team, the national league, the national side that didn't get into the World Cup.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're good. Other than that one,
yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
And the women's national team, they got beaten by Serbia as well. Ironically, men's and women's.
I reckon if it's like I bet there's some category we're going up against all the European teams, so it's very hard. That's what I'd imagine.
But the women's team lost in the quarterfinals. Brilliant. You got through to the quarterfinals. We're not even getting on the sheet.
Out of curiosity, how many European teams are in these rankings? So
tons.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think it's like
1, 2, 3,
8
4,
of the top 15.
6, 7. So 7 of the top 8 are European teams. I think that is why they're not in it.
7 of the top 8.
Sorry, 7 of the top 10.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because you've got USA, Australia, and Argentina.
Sorry,
right?
I meant 7 of the top 10 are European teams.
Yeah, and right below that, so you've got, at the moment as it stands, the top 20. I'll give you the 20 rundown. At 20, Puerto Rico, 19, Nigeria, 18, Montenegro, 17, Venezuela, 16, Turkey, 15, Canada, 14, Poland, 13, Brazil, 12, Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic, rather, 11, Germany, 10, Italy, 9, Greece, 8, Lithuania, 7, Slovenia, 6, Serbia, 5, France, 4, Argentina, and they've got it as like a joint kind of ranking, but it is Australia, then USA, and then Spain at the top. So the Spanish team are still considered the best.
So 9 out of the top 12 teams are from Europe.
Yeah.
I think that is why England, or no, it'll be Great Britain, why Great Britain aren't in the World Cup. I bet we're in a category where you're going up against the 9 of the top 12.
I mean,
so I think you're being a little harsh, Mark.
really?
Yeah.
Because if I look at just the FIBA rankings in Europe, just in Europe, it's and just look at the European teams, it tells you where they're standing. So European rank for Great Britain is 25th. We're 25th in Europe.
Well, we're going up.
Out of 47 teams. The bottom team, ironically, Moldova. They are actually the bottom team.
Wow. So do you think that's because basketball is a growing sport in Great Britain?
No, I think someone's got it wrong. Somewhere down the line they got it wrong. I don't know if it's the way that the leagues are played, the way the leagues are built together, we've talked with all the people putting the efforts that it takes to build the leagues, support the leagues, ref the leagues, all the free time that you have to put into it. And I just think a lot of that's been missed. And I think that's where it's, give it 10 years, I think there might be a slightly different picture. I think we might creep up a little bit.
Well, based on what you're saying with some of the youth teams that are doing very well, as that progresses up towards the senior teams, that's when
the senior players, the oldest senior players, probably early 30s. A lot of the senior men's senior team are like 24, 25 for the GB team. You go, in about 5 or 6 years' time, these under 16s are going to be getting towards that team.
So, do you think America will be winning these world championships and can go back to the United States of America saying that they are now officially world champions? No. Who have you got to win it?
I'd love to see anyone win it. I'd love to see any team win it. It's always good seeing Spain win. I wouldn't mind seeing someone different win. That's what I was going to say.
Canada. I was watching a couple of their highlights. I'd like Canada to do well.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the World Cup ranking in the brackets now. Italy against USA next. Germany against Latvia. Lithuania against Serbia. I've got to say...
Who's Canada got?
Slovakia. Or was it Slovenia? Slovenia.
There you go. Well, so who you picking?
Well, I would go Slovenia because it's got my boy Luka. So you're toast, mate.
Well,
Canada are
time.
They're going to go straight out the door. It does raise a point we've made before. Like, if you have there's Slovenia, the size of the team. We don't.
His head's by the net.
Yeah, well,
2 of their heads are by the net. Actually,
see Luka there. Yeah, he's 6'9".
Wow,
he's a massive dude, and these guys are making him look small.
Yeah,
and when you look at it that way, if you compare the height of some of our players, they're nowhere near that. We've got quite a small team.
Wow,
they're like 6'4", 6'5" players. It makes a difference.
I think we need to be getting some of those Force players into the GB team up.
Well, having interviews with people like Tom and Dan and looking at what the youth structure is and how things are going through. We've already had a conversation with Steve Davison about where he thought it could benefit people going forward.
Yeah.
Some of the challenges to becoming a professional player, maybe in the States.
Yeah.
Which was pretty horrific. But I don't know if the USA will always stay the center of basketball. That's
wow.
How many college games have you ever watched?
I've never really watched games. I've seen highlights, probably quite loads and loads of college highlights.
Yeah. Exactly. The NBA stands on its own. You've got a G League. People don't watch G League games. Big Three was over in the UK recently for their finals. Did you see that? You don't even know what Big Three is, do you?
I know what Big Three is. No, I didn't watch any of it.
But most people, that was so poorly advertised. Again, Ice Cube, hit me up. I can sort that out for you.
Wow.
But genuinely, they didn't advertise it very well. There was pictures in the crowd, and you go, "There's all these gaps. Why are there gaps at a game? It can't unless you've got the tickets super overpriced. Just fill the seats and let people see it. The more people who see it, the better it's going to be."
So they need to get you into the marketing. This whole episode is really about getting you out,
pouring myself out.
Work.
It's 100%. Right, I've got to show you this dunk, by the way.
Okay.
This guy has just been signed by the Mavs.
I've never seen this. Oh, it's Dallas Mavericks. Of course it is.
Look at this.
Holy smokes.
That ended that guy's day.
Wow.
That's just a run-out game.
So I'll give you a bit of running commentary here. Oh, wow. So here, how tall is he?
I don't know.
So he's bringing the ball from the halfway, and he jumps.
It's just
inside the free throw line. Flies.
It's just a poster dunk.
Arm out wide. Dunks over someone who lands splat onto the floor.
Greg Brown. He just ended that guy's career. He signed up for the Mavs.
Well, let's see how he does against the Orlando Magic, Mark, because that's the true test of any NBA player.
Now, we just talked about people being influences, and all I'd say is that sort of dunk and that kind of aggression, that's very much like a Jay Morant kind of style of play where you're going to the board.
Very aggressive.
But that was missing from the NBA for a long time, and now that's come back, and that's very exciting to watch. You're going to get a load of broken ankles, no question. People are going to be rolling stuff left and right, but it's great seeing that, and all the trouble that Morant's had with showing influence and everything, for example. I think it's interesting when you're seeing players playing like that. They're taking note that if I want to get points now in the NBA, standing outside and doing a Steph Curry, I'm not saying it's over, but there's a place for that. And you also need to be driving in and actually punching the ring, because you can get it. I won't say an easy two, but you can get the two guaranteed. So that whole statistics of just keep slinging up threes and statistically you'll win, that's boring.
Wow.
So change the NBA rules, bring back defenders where they can punch each other in the face.
You're upsetting everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just...
Well, seeing as you're all knowing today...
Oh, I am. It's like an oracle.
I think we should throw one of the episode questions to you. So every episode we've had a guest. And you know what? It's a shame we haven't got a guest today, but this was a very impromptu episode. But let's throw that question to you. So who is your one person who's going to take that shot? The fate of humanity rests on this shot, not just NBA championship.
It's so difficult to not say MJ, because everyone has the image of MJ just taking that ball on the inbound, taking it awkwardly in that shot, the one shot.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Paul Coates instead?
I was thinking that. I was going to say you originally, but then I realised that, not.
I wonder if anyone's going to look up Paul Coates now.
I mean,
he has confirmed he'll come on the show.
Is he?
He's
amazing.
And no one knows he's a journalist.
That would be amazing.
He did a lot of the journalism around the Portsmouth FC basketball days. So it'll be interesting to get his take.
He knows the numbers. He knows the numbers for sure.
So who are you going for?
I would, if it's going to be the one player I'm going to have to inbound the ball to, I'm going to say it is going to be MJ, but it's MJ inside the 3-point line. So anywhere.
Mark, I can't guarantee where this ball's going in. It could go in halfway line.
No, you're just saying one shot. I'm not saying it's not going to be like a logo shot. You're going to have a Steph Curry or someone like that.
So you're going Jordan?
I think, because I don't think there's any other player other than Jordan who's that successful inside the 3-point.
You know what we should do? At the end of the season, we should do a tally of all the votes and come up with
we're going to put a board on here.
Okay.
And we're going to have the top 5 people. I'm pointing to a board, no one else can see it except Paul. But I thought we're going to have who's the most most, I won't say revered, but the
Yeah.
single shot person.
Well, I think we know who that is at the
It's
moment.
going to be MJ, isn't it?
So,
But, I mean, Kobe always comes in so close. And then you're looking at people like Robert Horry. He hit some absolute bombs when it mattered.
yeah, I mean, everyone has a little bit of a go at him because he's got so many NBA titles. But if you look at some of the shots he's taken, like Lakers don't win one if he doesn't hit that
No.
buzzer beater.
No.
I don't want to say what year it was, but it was maybe 2001, 2002. But he hit a buzzer beater to win the penultimate game.
Yeah, exactly. And if you wanted to go for the safest thing ever, you'd probably just say, give him Shaq the ball for a dunk. Like if he's inside and give Shaq the ball for the dunk, it's like,
well, I don't think he was meant to take the shot I'm thinking about. I can't remember. Someone shot and it came out to the 3-point line. Robert Horry, boom.
yeah,
And the coach was like, oh, it just fell straight to Robert Horry. Oh, he's hit it. So Robert Horry is your number one, yeah?
No, he's
right, brilliant.
not. No, I'd go Steve Kerr over Robert Horry. Do you know why? Because Jordan trusted Kerr to take the shot when they were going to block him out.
So you're going for Steve Kerr, not Jordan?
I'm going MJ, and it's going to be inside the 3.
So who is your 5? What are the 5 you going for?
Right, so I love Gary Payton. Love Gary Payton.
The glove.
And it's a choice between him or John Stockton.
Well, who?
It's going to be Stockton.
Stockton, number 1.
Gary, I'm sorry.
So you don't love him that much?
Gary's
then?
still I do. But the reason is because the next player I'd have is Jordan. And I'm taking cue from what other people have said, thinking about how they would play together. Payton would not play with Jordan. Payton would not play together very well.
If you have a strong coach, you'll make it happen.
You wouldn't.
So Stockton and Jordan.
Stockton and Jordan, they'd be at the top. So you'd have like Jordan running as a shooting guard, and
it's like dream
Stockton
team
as
at the
a
moment.
point. Yeah, exactly. Down low, I'd want Charles Barkley.
This is definitely dream team at the moment.
Yeah.
Barkley.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am going. A lot of people, if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it, have said a certain person, and it's really difficult to go past him. But I'm going to go for a centre role kind of scenario. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I'm really surprised I'm saying it, but he is so good, and he just gets the numbers. It's tough now. Who else do I need?
One more. You know what we need for this is
I know exactly. I know exactly.
Suspense music.
I know he's going down low. Rodman, get him in there.
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, he'll give. You don't have to have a sub for him. He'll give you 40 minutes of causing absolute chaos, and he'll get you every rebound. You got Rodman and Tim Duncan. No one else is getting the board. That's it.
So who is going to be your 6th man coming off the bench?
I've just realised I've got a heavily defensive. I mean, damn, who is coming off the bench? Okay.
I was just about to put some boring music on there.
No, I am going with Larry Bird.
Larry! Bird! Larry Bird. He's come up
Because
a few times.
I think you've got, if you could switch people around there, you can have quite a fluid team where
4
more
out
people
of the
can.
6 dream team.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I mean, there's people I want to include. I would have put Vince Carter in there, but
You haven't put a single Dallas Mavericks player,
Luka's not good enough for
and
that.
you're saying you're a Dallas
He's
fan.
not there. No.
Are you really a Dallas fan?
Tim or Dirk?
Well, you've said Tim Duncan now. It's too late.
Tim is the. I'm setting this up old school. I'm going.
Are
as
you
an
really
old
a
centre.
Dallas fan?
Yes.
Your answers would suggest otherwise.
Well, listen, I
Do you
was a
think
Seattle fan
You didn't include any of them either.
until... No, I didn't. And do you know why? Because that sod sold them.
Wow.
I'm still bitter about that. I won't drink a Starbucks.
Wow. Well, because you're upset here,
I'm upset.
Are you not going to take today's shot?
I'm not shooting crap. You've made me
Wow.
think about Starbucks now. I'm
Wow.
upset.
For our weekly
Bring back the
listeners,
Sonics.
Weekly listeners, we know that.
I'm going to give you a bombshell.
What?
If
Is this like a therapy
this
episode
is
for you?
this is amazing, honestly. If Seattle Supersonics have a new team,
Would you put a player in the top 6? Is that what you're saying?
no, I have to question if I carry on supporting the Dallas Mavs.
Wow. Wow.
Because Seattle were always my team.
Well, who owns the Dallas?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, if you're listening.
Yeah, Mark, if you want to have a chat as well.
You know,
I mean,
just
both called
send
Mark.
Mark an email.
There's a similarity.
I think maybe
I'm just trying to hope for
free hat.
similarities between them.
Whoa.
Do you know my
Cuban.
hat is actually getting worn down? So if you can sort me a hat out, that'd be amazing.
If Mark Cuban sent you a hat, signed hat, went Mavs all the way, would you stay with the Mavs?
Funny story about that hat. I was thinking I needed a new hat, and your brother bought me that hat for Christmas.
Wow.
And I literally was walking around there thinking I need a new hat because mine's. And then he's like, "There you go. Wow.
Wow.
How about that?"
There you go.
The universe answered. So Cuban, send us another hat because that one's getting stuffed.
Wow. Very aggressive tonight.
Very. I'm making
Right,
demands.
Shall I take a shot?
I
I
think.
mean,
yeah.
we need to get the music thing.
No, I'm going to take a shot. I'm feeling.
Are you taking
I'm
it?
feeling the universe now. Or do you
Oh.
want to take a shot? Are you feeling? You feeling lucky?
Yeah. I don't mind. I
Whoa.
don't. You can take it. I'm
No,
easy.
you're feeling like. Let's see what
Right.
happens.
Okay. Well, you have to do the commentating.
I'm of course
So-
going to do commentating, but I
Hang on.
will say that
I've never said myself. Let's hang on. Yeah, now. Your co-host. That sounds awful. That sounds awful. I'm not going to do that. We need to turn that echo off. Right, I'll go and do the shot. You can do the commentating. Look, that's the clap. That's the one you need to get ready when I score.
really you're telling me which button to press. Well, I was just going to say, it was like watching an old person get out of a chair. He's dusting himself off, taking his time, packing his sandwiches, checking the lint in his pockets. Oh, he's bouncing the ball. He's looking very confident with himself. Very confident. Dude. I am aware that my view is significantly obscured by a gigantic amp.
Swish.
That was not a swish. That was not a swish. No chance at all. If that went in, you'd be going absolutely mental. There's no way that went in. No, that was a clang. They heard that clang. Anyone who's listening now heard the clang. You're building a house with the bricks you just thrown up. Really? The finals, don't choke. Reggie Miller choked. Reggie, it was not 3 out of 3.
There you go.
No.
The first ever 3 out of 3.
The first 3 out of 3.
I'm a little bit out of breath, actually. 3 out of 3. That's
if anyone
bad, isn't it?
saw, if
I'm out
anyone
of
saw
breath
how
going
far
from there to there.
you've walked about 9 steps.
Yeah. No, it's got excited because I got 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3.
If anyone, I guess we need some specific wording. 3 out of 3 unconfirmed shots.
Look, that's definitely getting an asterisk on it.
Well, look, you heard it. First one was a swish. You heard the other 2 go in.
All I heard was just rim rattling.
I'd like to say congratulations to myself for getting 3 out of 3. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
You're really congratulating yourself for those air balls.
No, you heard it, Mark.
I didn't know. All I heard was
3 out of 3
a load of
unconfirmed.
banging and slapping around.
We'll have to do it another time when you got someone who can confirm those shots.
Really?
So, well, you've upset everyone.
Yeah,
you've
pretty
got
much.
things off your chest. I guess this is the episode which is, we may upset you episode, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think we've
But
said anything
we got,
too bad, have we?
No, I mean, we didn't bring many topics we could have brought in. But I think we do need to end on a positive.
You're going to change one of your players for a Dallas player?
No. We've got a friendly game coming up.
Yes, we damn well have, Mark. Yes, we have.
I'm saying friendly, and I'm putting a big asterisk on friendly.
Well, I don't think you have friendlies. Just in sport general, you know what it's like. Once the ball gets thrown up, you get a bit of...
It's a pre-season game.
It's a pre-season game. People want to win it. People want to go into it. You get that winning mentality kick in, especially with National League teams. These guys are going to be playing hard. It is not going to be a NBA All-Star game, I don't think. So what we're talking about is on the 16th of September, and it is the Mickey Byrne Memorial game where the Portsmouth Force are hosting the Solent Kestrels.
Yeah, it's just under a few weeks' time.
It's on the 16th of September. So, yeah, it's at Ravelin Sports Centre. Tip-off is at 6:30. Now, what I would say, Mark, is people need ticket sales are flying.
Are they?
Yes, they are flying. So
I shouldn't say that surprise, should I? Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of tickets, but based on the trends that I saw last season, if anyone wants to get a seat, I would recommend getting there a little earlier. Don't turn up at tip-off. Get there a little earlier and you'll be able to...
What time's tip?
Tip's 6:30.
Oh, it is. Push back.
6:30.
So anyone who's listening who went last year, tip was 5:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's now 6:30. Yeah. So if you come a little bit earlier, you will have a seat, no problems. And yeah, we're all looking forward to that. I am well up for that game. Just we've had how long we had since March, so almost 6 months without National League basketball.
Yeah, it's been a long time actually. It's felt like a long gap.
Yeah, and I mean, not that anyone would know this, but it's things that we know where, all those little steps we've just been improving during, I guess, our off season. So, the actual setup that we got is better. The microphones we got were actually better. So the actual mix we can give the audience is better. There is, I'm hesitant whether to say this or not. Today I saw a mascot outfit for the first time. It might need some alterations, but it is potentially there, potentially ready for that game. So we shall see.
Amazing. And the kit, do we know any details about the kit?
Yeah, so and this is something that the Force have done, which I thought was brilliant, is the men's kit is the same as every National League kit all the way through to the under-12s National League.
Yeah, that's good.
So I can't remember which way round it is, but it's one colour fading down into another colour, and it's white and blue. But I think it's blue fading down into white. But it's
you're colourblind, you get a pass. That's fine.
So, I'm sure you can pick up on my excitement. I am well up for that game. Yeah. And you're going to have some absolute Portsmouth and probably Solent legends there. You're going to get, I'll call them out at half time and, let them give a wave or tell people where they are. Cause you're going to get some classic National League players, coming to that game.
Oh, I thought you were just going to call my name out.
I said National League players, Mark. That's out of order.
I'm a British national. Does that count?
No. Yeah, no.
I can bring a passport and prove it and everything.
So,
that's going to be a really exciting game. And it's for the Mickey Byrne trophy.
Yeah, and you know what? I know we've been talking about this for a while, but we're even considering doing a live, like a podcast at a game before the game starts and then putting that out there, because then people will be able to hear the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah. Difficult to capture stuff like that. It's like doing live events. It's always tricky because of microphones, and you'll have a screaming kid.
As people walk past, just hey, pass them the mic.
Someone
I think that'll be really good.
Crisps too loud.
It depends on how quick we do the mix, because it does take a lot setting that all up, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we can preempt some stuff. We'll have a tinker. We'll have a play, and you never know. We might be coming at you live next time.
But you definitely will see Force posts on social media coming out about the game. I can't wait for it.
Well, this is going to be going out straight off the bat. We've got Steve Davison episode. I think it's going to be rolling out. It's already rolled out today, and we've got another episode coming out tomorrow. So this will be going out within the next day or two.
So this is episode 7, is it?
I guess it will be, yeah.
Hang on, I can tell you.
It's no good, because one will be there, and there's another one in the wings, because Steve's is a 2-parter.
So this will be. So this is episode 8.
This is number 8, technically. But more importantly, if you like it, then keep listening, because we're going to have loads more. We got plenty in the wings. We just thought we'd do a bit of an impromptu one today and have a moan about stuff, really. And it was just my therapy session. It's fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you got it all out, Mark.
It feels good. Feels good, and I'll just wait for Adam Silver and BBL to give me a call and
Mark
help
Cuban.
sort out their life. Mark Cuban as well. I mean,
and British basketball to sort out their standards. You said as
if
well.
If they want the help.
I think you said you'd help FIBA out as well.
Yep. I can be. It's like I'm like the Oracle in the Matrix. I can just sit there and just tell them do this.
That brings the end to a potential one-off. What is it? World Basketball Podcast.
World Basketball Podcast. We were including everyone. I feel like we should have called people in different countries. Maybe we'll do that one day.
Wow.
Who knows?
And I guess this episode's called the We May Upset You episode.
Yep. Let's upset basketball.
Let's upset basketball. Wow. Do you want me to press that?
Well, you can do, but it's actually on that one there. Yeah.
There you go. Here you go. Done.
You pressed the right button this time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Felt good. Well, thank you very much for listening. It's always a pleasure having everyone join, send us messages and stuff, but please drop us messages if you have any questions. And, we want to get people involved. So, let's keep the conversations going and tune into all of our episodes. If you haven't listened to any other episodes previously, go back and listen to them. But in the meantime, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for listening, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'll say goodbye as well. See you later. Down.